The moment you open your eyes each morning, you have already forgotten who you truly are. Think about this every single day. Within seconds of consciousness returning to your body, you begin the exhausting process of trying to become someone you already are. You search for strengths you already possess. You seek peace that lives within you. You chase happiness that is your natural state. What if I told you that the very act of seeking is what keeps you from finding? Most people wake up and immediately surrender their power. They reach for their phone before they reach for their breath. They check what others are doing before they check what they are feeling. They plan their escape from the present moment before they have even fully arrived in it. You do this too, we all do. But today something changes. Your mind is both your greatest prison and your master key. Every morning you hold the choice between these two realities. Most choose the prison without even knowing they had an option. They wake up and immediately become slaves to thoughts that are not their own, emotions that do not serve them, and reactions that steal their power. Listen carefully. The thoughts racing through your mind right now as you hear these words, they are not you. The anxiety about the day ahead, the regret about yesterday, the endless commentary about what you should do, must do, need to do. None of this is you. You are the one who observes these thoughts. You are the stillness behind the storm. You are the awareness that remains unchanged while everything else shifts and moves. But you have forgotten this truth. Society has taught you to identify with your thoughts, to believe you are your emotions, to think you are your circumstances. This is the great lie that keeps you small, keeps you searching, keeps you suffering. Every morning becomes a battlefield, not between you and the world, but between you and your own mind. The moment your feet touch the floor, the internal war begins. Should I do this? Why did I say that? What if this happens? How will I handle that? Your mind becomes a television with 1,000 channels, all playing at once, all demanding your attention. You try to listen to every please, every demand, solve every problem. By the time you leave your house, you are already exhausted. By noon, you are running on empty. By evening, you collapse, promising yourself that tomorrow will be different. Tomorrow comes. The same pattern repeats. This is not living. This is surviving. The ancient masters understood something that modern life has made us forget. They knew that the quality of your entire day is determined in the first few moments after you wake. They knew that consciousness is not something that happens to you. It is something you choose, moment by moment, breath by breath. Most people wake up unconscious and spend their entire day trying to become conscious. They drink coffee to feel awake. They listen to music to feel inspired. They talk to others to feel connected. They buy things to feel fulfilled. They achieve goals to feel worthy. But consciousness cannot be consumed. Inspiration cannot be purchased. Connection cannot be collected. Fulfillment cannot be achieved. Worth cannot be earned. These states already exist within you. They are not destinations to reach, but realities to remember. When you wake up tomorrow morning, you will face the same choice you have faced every morning of your life. Will you react to the day, or will you respond to it? Will you be driven by unconscious patterns, or will you be guided by conscious awareness? The difference between reacting and responding is the difference between slavery and freedom. When you react, you are at the mercy of whatever happens to you. Your mood depends on other people's actions. Your peace depends on external circumstances. Your happiness depends on things going your way. You become a leaf blown by every wind, a wave tossed by every storm. When you respond, you become like a mountain. Storms may rage around you, but your foundation remains unmoved. Rain may fall upon you, but you do not bend. Winds may howl at you, but you do not break. This is not about becoming emotionless. This is about becoming emotionally free. This is not about controlling everything. This is about mastering yourself. The first insight that will transform your morning, and therefore your life, is this: I am the observer, not the observed. Right now, as you listen to these words, notice what is happening in your mind. Thoughts are arising, perhaps agreement, perhaps resistance, perhaps confusion. Notice these thoughts, but do not become them. Watch them like clouds passing through an empty sky. You are not the clouds, you are the sky. The clouds of thought will come and go. Some will be dark and heavy with worry. Some will be light and bright with joy. Some will bring the rain of sadness. Some will bring the sunshine of hope. But the sky remains unchanged. The sky simply witnesses, holds space, allows all weather to pass through without resistance. This is your true nature. You are the unchanging awareness in which all thoughts, emotions, and experiences arise and dissolve. When you remember this, you reclaim your power. When you forget this, you become a victim to your own mind. Every morning before you check what the world wants from you, check what you want from yourself. Before you respond to external demands, connect with your internal wisdom. Before you react to circumstances, remember your true identity. You are not your thoughts. Thoughts are temporary visitors in the space of your consciousness. Some are welcome guests that bring helpful information. Others are unwanted intruders that bring fear and confusion. But all thoughts pass through. None stay forever. Your job is not to control which thoughts arrive, but to choose which thoughts you invite to stay. You are not your emotions. Emotions are energy in motion flowing through your body like weather patterns through the atmosphere. Joy comes and goes. Anger comes and goes. Fear comes and goes. Love remains, peace remains, awareness remains. These are not emotions, most days are aspects of your essential nature. You are not your circumstances. Your bank account does not define you. Your job title does not contain you. Your relationships do not complete you. Your achievements do not measure you. These are all temporary expressions of your creative power, but they are not your identity. So who are you? You are the witness. You are the space in which all experience unfolds. You are the consciousness that makes all awareness possible. You are the stillness that exists before thought, during thought, and after thought dissolves. This is not a concept to understand. This is a reality to experience. Tomorrow morning, before you do anything else, sit quietly for just 3 minutes. Not to meditate, not to improve yourself, not to become more spiritual, simply to remember who you are. Place your hand on your chest and feel your heartbeat. Notice that you do not make your heart beat, it beats by itself. Notice that you do not make your breath breathe, it breathes by itself. Notice that you do not make your consciousness conscious, it is aware by itself. This is the intelligence that runs your entire body, maintains your entire life, and creates your entire reality. This intelligence is not separate from you. This intelligence is you, but not the small you that worries and plans and struggles. The real you that simply is. Most people spend their mornings trying to figure out how to get through the day. They make lists of what they need to do, people they need to please, problems they need to solve. They turn their minds into command centers for a war they do not need to fight. What if, instead of planning your escape from the present moment, you learn to find refuge in it? The second insight that will change everything. Stillness is my foundation. In a world that never stops moving, stillness seems impossible. But stillness is not the absence of movement. Stillness is the presence of peace within movement. The center of a hurricane is perfectly still while chaos swirls all around it. Your true center is like this, unmoved by the storms of daily life. When you wake up tomorrow, before you allow your mind to create the hurricane of the day ahead, find your center. Not through force, not through effort, but through surrender. Like a tree that bends with the wind but remains rooted in the earth, you can flow with life while staying grounded in truth. Stillness is not something you do. Stillness is something you are. Think of a lake at dawn. The surface may have small ripples from the gentle morning breeze, but underneath the water is completely still. Your mind may have ripples of thought and emotion, but underneath your awareness is completely still. This stillness is not empty. It is full of infinite potential. From this stillness all wisdom arises. From this stillness all power emerges. From this stillness all peace flows. But you cannot think your way into stillness. You cannot effort your way into stillness. You cannot achieve stillness like you achieve a goal, or earn stillness like you earn a reward. Stillness is already here. It is the background of every experience, the foundation of every moment, the essence of your being. Your only job is to stop running from it. Every morning you have a choice. You can begin your day by running toward 1,000 different things, or you can begin your day by returning to the one thing that never changes. The stillness, silent awareness that you are. This awareness is not boring. It is not empty. It is not inactive. This awareness is the most dynamic force in the universe. From this awareness all creativity flows. From this awareness all love emerges. From this awareness all wisdom arises. When you start your day from stillness, everything you do carries the power of presence. Your words become more meaningful because they arise from silence. Your actions become more effective because they emerge from clarity. Your relationships become more authentic because they flow from wholeness. The ancient warriors knew this secret. Before battle they would sit in perfect stillness, not to prepare for war but to remember peace, not to gather strength but to connect with the strength they already possessed. Not to become fearless, but to realize that fear and fearlessness both arise in the same unchanging awareness. You are this awareness. You have always been this awareness. Tomorrow morning you will have the opportunity to remember this truth or to forget it once again. The choice, as always, is yours. But now you know something you did not know before. You know that seeking is optional. You know that struggling is a choice. You know that the peace you long for, the strength you need and the wisdom you seek are not somewhere out there waiting to be found. They are right here, right now in the stillness of your being, waiting to be remembered. Your breath is happening right now. You did not start it. You do not control it. Yet without it nothing else matters. How many breaths have you taken today without noticing? How many times has your life force moved through you while your attention was somewhere else entirely? Right now, as these words reach your awareness, your breath continues its ancient rhythm in and out, connecting you to this moment, to this body, to this life. The third truth that will revolutionize your mornings: my breath is my anchor to the present. Most people breathe like they are running from something. Quick, shallow breaths that barely reach their chest. Anxious breathing that signals to their nervous system that danger is near. Unconscious breathing that keeps them disconnected from their own life force. Your breath tells the story of your inner state. When you are afraid, your breath becomes shallow and rapid. When you are angry, your breath becomes sharp and forceful. When you are sad, your breath becomes heavy and labored. When you are peaceful, your breath becomes slow and natural. But here is what most never realize. This relationship works both ways. Change your breath and you change your state. Change your state and you change your reality. Every morning before you allow your mind to create the story of your day, return to your breath. Not to control it, but to connect with it. Not to change it, but to notice it. Your breath is the bridge between your conscious and unconscious mind, between your voluntary and involuntary nervous system, between your awareness and your body. When you breathe consciously, you step into your power. When you breathe unconsciously, you remain at the mercy of unconscious patterns. Think of your breath as a river that flows through the landscape of your body. When you are stressed, this river becomes turbulent rapids, crashing against rocks of tension, creating whirlpools of anxiety. When you are peaceful, this river becomes a gentle stream, flowing smoothly through meadows of relaxation, nourishing everything it touches. You cannot control the landscape, but you can influence the flow of the river. Place your hand on your belly. Feel it rise and fall with each breath. This simple action connects you to the rhythm that has sustained you since your first moment of life. This rhythm connects you to every human being who has ever lived. This rhythm connects you to the earth itself, breathing through the cycles of day and night, season by season. When you wake up tomorrow morning, before you check what happened while you slept, check what is happening while you breathe. Take 5 conscious breaths, not special breathing, not complicated techniques, just conscious awareness of the breath that is already flowing through you. With each inhale, feel yourself arriving more fully in your body. With each exhale, feel yourself releasing whatever is not needed for this moment. Inhale presence, exhale past, inhale peace, exhale struggle, inhale now, exhale then. This is not meditation, this is not relaxation. This is connection to your life force, to your body, to your innate wisdom that knows how to breathe you, even when you forget to breathe consciously. Your breath is your teacher. It teaches you about flow without forcing. It teaches you about rhythm without rigidity. It teaches you about letting go without losing. It teaches you about receiving without grasping. Watch how your breath naturally creates space between inhale and exhale. This space is not empty, it is full of potential. In this space between breaths, transformation becomes possible. In this space, the old you dissolves and the new you is born. Every breath is a small death and rebirth. Every breath is an opportunity to choose who you want to be in the next moment. But most people skip past this space. They breathe automatically, unconsciously, missing thousands of opportunities each day to consciously choose their state, their response, their reality. The warrior knows that breath is power, not the power to control others, but the power to master oneself. Not the power to force outcomes, but the power to remain centered regardless of circumstances. Not the power to avoid difficulty, but the power to flow through challenge with grace. When difficulties arise in your day and they will metered, return to your breath. When others trigger your reactivity, meters, and they will meters, return to your breath. When circumstances seem overwhelming, key, and they will meters, return to your breath. Your breath is always available. Your breath is always present. Your breath is always willing to anchor you in the now. But breath alone is not enough. You must also claim your power to choose. The fourth truth, I choose my response to this day. Right now something is happening in your mind. Perhaps agreement with these words, perhaps resistance to them, perhaps confusion about their meaning. Whatever is arising, notice that you have a choice about what to do with this inner experience. You can resist it, which creates tension. You can judge it, which creates suffering. You can ignore it, which creates unconsciousness. Or you can simply witness it, which creates freedom. This choice is available to you every moment of every day. Most people do not realize they have this choice. They believe they must react to whatever arises in their experience. Someone speaks harshly to them, so they must speak harshly back. Traffic is slow, so they must become frustrated. Their plans change, so they must become upset. But reaction is not mandatory. Response is always possible. What is the difference? Reaction is unconscious. Response is conscious. Reaction is automatic. Response is chosen. Reaction serves old patterns. Response serves your highest good. When you wake up tomorrow morning, you will immediately face hundreds of micro choices. What to think about first. How to interpret the weather. Whether to rush or move calmly. How to respond to your reflection in the mirror. What energy to bring to your first interaction with another person. Most people make these choices unconsciously, based on habitual patterns that were formed years or even decades ago. They react to morning sunlight the same way they always have. They react to their appearance the same way they always have. They react to their circumstances the same way they always have. But you are not most people. You have the power to respond rather than react. This power is not something you must develop or earn or achieve. This power is inherent in your nature as a conscious being. Your only task is to remember this power and use it. Every morning presents you with a blank canvas. You can paint the same picture you painted yesterday, or you can create something entirely new. The brush is in your hand. The colors are available. The choice is yours. When your alarm sounds tomorrow morning, you will have your first opportunity to choose response over reaction. You can react with resistance, hitting the snooze button and starting your day with avoidance. Or you can respond with acceptance, greeting the new day as an opportunity to practice consciousness. When you see your face in the mirror, you will have another opportunity. You can react with criticism, focusing on what you judge as imperfect. Or you can respond with gratitude, appreciating the vehicle that carries your consciousness through this physical experience. When you interact with your family, your co-workers, or strangers on the street, you will have countless opportunities. You can react based on your assumptions about their motives, your judgments about their behavior, your projections of your past experience onto present moments. Or you can respond from a fresh perspective, seeing each interaction as a chance to practice presence, compassion, and authenticity. The quality of your entire day depends on these choices. Not the big dramatic choices that happen occasionally, but the small, seemingly insignificant choices that happen constantly. Do you choose to interpret that comment as an attack or as information? Do you choose to see that delay as an inconvenience or as an opportunity for patience? Do you choose to experience that challenge as a problem or as a chance to grow stronger? Your circumstances do not determine your experience. Your response to your circumstances determines your experience. This is both liberating and terrifying. Liberating because it means you have far more power than you realized. Terrifying because it means you can no longer blame your suffering on external factors. Most people prefer the comfort of victimhood to the responsibility of empowerment. It is easier to say this happened to me than to say I chose how to respond to what happened. It is easier to blame others for your emotional state than to own your power to choose your emotional state. But easy is not the same as fulfilling. Comfortable is not the same as free. When you claim your power to choose your response, you reclaim your sovereignty. You are no longer at the mercy of other people's moods, opinions, or actions. You are no longer controlled by circumstances beyond your influence. You become the author of your own experience. This does not mean you can control what happens to you. Life will continue to present challenges, losses, disappointments, and difficulties. But you can control what happens within you, in response to what happens to you. And what happens within you is what creates your reality. When you respond to difficulty with curiosity instead of resistance, you learn and grow. When you respond to criticism with openness instead of defensiveness, you gain valuable feedback. When you respond to change with flexibility instead of rigidity, you flow with life instead of fighting against it. The ancient masters called this rewire, means action without force, effort without strain, power without violence. They understood that the greatest strength comes not from pushing against life but from flowing with it while maintaining your center. Your center is found in the space between stimulus and response. In that space lives your freedom. In that space lives your power. In that space lives your choice. Tomorrow morning, when life begins to make its demands on your attention and energy, remember this space. Before you react automatically, find this space. Before you respond habitually, choose consciously from this space. This brings us to the fifth and final truth, the one that makes all the others possible. I am already whole. Stop searching. Stop seeking. Stop trying to become what you already are. You are not broken. You do not need to be fixed. You are not incomplete. You do not need to be improved. You are not lacking. You do not need to be filled. This is the most radical truth you will ever hear, and the most difficult to accept. Your entire life has been built on the assumption that you are somehow inadequate as you are. Your entire culture is designed to convince you that happiness, peace, fulfillment, and love are things you must acquire, rather than gifts you already possess. But what if this entire premise is false? What if the very act of seeking is what keeps you from finding? What if the effort to improve yourself is what prevents you from accepting yourself? What if the struggle to become worthy is what blinds you to your inherent worth? Right now, in this moment, without changing anything about yourself or your circumstances, you are already whole. Not potentially whole, not partially whole, not conditionally whole. Completely, utterly, undeniably whole. Your wholeness does not depend on your achievements. Your peace does not depend on your circumstances. Your worth does not depend on other people's opinions. Your happiness does not depend on getting what you want or avoiding what you fear. These states are not rewards for good behavior. They are not prizes for hard work. They are not destinations to reach after sufficient struggle. They are your natural state. They are what remains when you stop trying to be something other than what you are. But the mind protests. The mind says, if I am already whole, why do I feel broken? If I am already peaceful, why do I feel anxious? If I am already worthy, why do I feel inadequate? The answer is simple. Because you have forgotten who you are. Because you have identified with thoughts and emotions that come and go, instead of with the awareness that remains constant. Because you have believed stories about yourself that are not true. Your thoughts tell you that you are not enough, but you are not your thoughts. Your emotions tell you that something is wrong, but you are not your emotions. Your circumstances tell you that you are lacking, but you are not your circumstances. You are the space in which all thoughts arise. You are the awareness in which all emotions are felt. You are the consciousness in which all circumstances are experienced. And this space, this awareness, this consciousness, it has never been broken. It has never been inadequate. It has never been lacking. The wave thinks it is separate from the ocean, but it is made of the same water. The cloud thinks it is separate from the sky, but it arises from the same emptiness. You think you are separate from wholeness, but you are made of the same consciousness. Tomorrow morning, instead of waking up with a list of what you need to fix about yourself, wake up with gratitude for what is already perfect about your essential nature. Instead of planning how to improve your life, appreciate how complete your being already is. Instead of working to become worthy of love, Recognize that you are love itself. This is not positive thinking. This is not self-improvement. This is recognition of what has always been true. When you know you are already whole, you stop grasping for wholeness. When you know you are already peaceful, you stop chasing peace. When you know you are already love, you stop demanding love from others. And in this stopping, in this ceasing of the endless search, you finally find what you were looking for all along. Not because you acquired it, but because you remembered it was never lost. Now that you remember, how will you live? Tomorrow morning will arrive, whether you are prepared or not. Your alarm will sound. Your feet will touch the floor. Your day will begin. The question is not whether these things will happen. The question is who will be present when they do. Will it be the old you, the one who forgot these truths the moment you heard them? The one who starts each day unconscious, reactive, searching for what you already possess? Or will it be the awakened you, the one who remembers that you are the observer, that stillness is your foundation, that breath is your anchor, that response is your choice, that wholeness is your nature? The gap between knowing and being is where most teachings die. You can understand every word that has been spoken here and still wake up tomorrow exactly as you woke up yesterday. Understanding is not transformation. Knowing is not being. Awareness is not awakening. What transforms understanding into being? Practice. Not complicated practice. Not perfect practice, but consistent practice. The simple act of remembering, again and again, until remembering becomes as natural as breathing. Your first 20 minutes tomorrow morning will determine the quality of your entire day. Not what you accomplish in those 20 minutes, but how present you are in those 20 minutes. Not what you think about, but how aware you are of thinking. Not what you feel, but how conscious you are of feeling. When consciousness awakens tomorrow in your body, before you allow unconsciousness to take over, claim those first moments. They belong to you. They are your daily opportunity to choose who you will be. Here is how transformation actually happens. Moment by moment, breath by breath. The moment you become aware that you are awake before you move, before you plan, before you worry, place your hand on your heart. Feel the rhythm that has sustained you through sleep, the rhythm that will carry you through the day. This is not your heart. This is life itself expressing through your heart. This is not your pulse. This is the universe, pulsing through your being. Say to yourself, silently or aloud, I am the observer, not the observed. Feel the truth of these words. You are not the thoughts that are beginning to arise. You are not the emotions that may be stirring. You are not the body that is waking up. You are the awareness in which all of these experiences are happening. You are the space in which awakening occurs. This is not a concept to think about. This is a reality to experience. For just 30 seconds, rest in this awareness. Let everything else be secondary to this recognition of who you truly are. Then, while still lying in your bed, connect with your breath. Not to change it, not to improve it, but to notice it. 5 conscious breaths. As you inhale, say to yourself, stillness is my foundation. As you exhale, release everything that is not stillness. The urgency, the anxiety, the mental noise that wants to hijack your morning. Feel your body resting on the bed, like a mountain resting on the earth. Unmovable, unshakable, rooted in something deeper than circumstance. This stillness is not laziness. This stillness is power. From this stillness, all right action arises. From this stillness, all wisdom flows. Now as you begin to move,
Carry this stillness with you. Sit up slowly, not because you are tired, but because you are present. Stand up consciously, not because you are careful, but because you are awake. Each movement becomes a meditation when performed with awareness. As you walk to the bathroom, to the kitchen, wherever your morning routine takes you, remember the third truth. Say to yourself, my breath is my anchor to the present. With each step, synchronize your breathing, not in any special pattern, just with conscious awareness. Your breath connects you to your body connects you to the earth connects you to this moment. This moment is all there is. The past exists only in memory. The future exists only in imagination. Reality is always now. Your breath keeps you anchored in reality. When you look in the mirror, and you will face another choice point. You can see through the eyes of judgment, focusing on what appears to be wrong, inadequate, or needing improvement. Or you can see through the eyes of acceptance, recognizing the miracle of consciousness, looking at itself through physical form. Say to yourself, I choose my response to this day. This reflection looking back at you is not your enemy to criticize. This is not your project to improve. This is the temporary form that consciousness has chosen to experience life through. Honor it, appreciate it, but do not confuse it with your identity. You are not this body. You are not this face. You are not this appearance. You are the one who looks through these eyes, who feels through this heart, who thinks through this mind. You are the eternal, expressing through the temporary. As you move through your morning routine, washing, dressing, eating, each action becomes an opportunity to practice presence. Most people perform these actions automatically, while their minds race ahead to the day's obligations. But you are not most people anymore. When you wash your hands, feel the water. When you drink your morning beverage, taste it fully. When you put on your clothes, notice the sensation of fabric against skin. These simple acts become sacred when performed with awareness. This is not about being slow. This is about being conscious. You can move quickly and still be present. You can be efficient and still be aware. Presence is not a pace, it is a quality of attention.
Before you leave your home, before you engage with the world, take one final moment to center yourself. Stand still for 30 seconds. Feel your feet on the ground. Remember who you are. Remember what you know. Remember that you are already whole. Say to yourself, I am already whole. Feel the completeness of this truth. You are not leaving your house to find anything. You are not going into the world to become anything. You are bringing wholeness into the world. You are sharing consciousness with unconsciousness. You are offering presence to a world that has forgotten how to be present. This is your gift to the world, not your accomplishments, not your achievements, not your productivity, but your presence. When you interact with others from this state of wholeness, you remind them of their own wholeness. When you respond to challenges from this state of peace, you bring peace to chaotic situations. When you approach your work from this state of awareness, you transform ordinary tasks into expressions of consciousness. This is how transformation spreads. Not through preaching, not through convincing, not through forcing, but through being. Your state of consciousness affects everyone around you. Your peace influences their peace. Your awareness awakens their awareness. Your presence calls forth their presence. You become like a tuning fork that has been struck. Everyone who comes near you begins to vibrate at the same frequency. This is not something you do intentionally. This is something that happens naturally when you are aligned with your true nature. But this influence extends far beyond your personal interactions. When you move through your day from a state of conscious wholeness, you affect the collective consciousness of humanity. Every moment of awareness you maintain adds to the total amount of awareness in the world. Every choice you make to respond rather than react raises the overall frequency of human consciousness. This is not metaphysical theory. This is practical reality. Consciousness is contagious. Peace is magnetic. Presence is powerful. Think of how you feel when you are around someone who is truly present, truly peaceful, truly conscious. Their state affects your state. Their calm calms you. Their awareness awakens you. Their presence brings you into presence. You have this same influence on others. Every morning that you begin with conscious awareness, you strengthen your ability to maintain that awareness throughout the day. Every day that you maintain awareness, you strengthen your natural influence on others. Every person whose consciousness is raised by your presence contributes to the awakening of all humanity. This is why your morning practice matters. Not just for you, but for everyone whose life you touch. Not just for today, but for the generations that will follow. Not just for your personal peace, but for the peace of the world. But do not let the magnitude of this responsibility overwhelm you. You do not have to save the world. You only have to remember who you are. You do not have to fix everyone else. You only have to stop trying to fix yourself. You do not have to change everything. You only have to change nothing and accept everything as it is. This acceptance is not passive resignation. This acceptance is active recognition of what is already perfect about this moment, about this experience, about this life. From this acceptance, right action arises naturally. From this acceptance, needed changes happen effortlessly. From this acceptance, your highest potential expresses itself without force. When challenges arise in your day, you now have 5 anchors to keep you grounded in truth. When your mind tries to pull you into unconscious reaction, remember, I am the observer, not the observed. When chaos swirls around you, remember, stillness is my foundation. When you feel disconnected from the present moment, remember, my breath is my anchor to the present. When circumstances trigger automatic patterns, remember, I choose my response to this day. When you feel inadequate or lacking, remember, I am already whole. These are not just phrases to repeat, these are truths to embody. These are not just ideas to think about. These are realities to live from. The ancient masters who understood these truths did not acquire them through study or effort. They recognized them through direct experience. They did not become enlightened by achieving something new. They awakened by remembering something eternal. You are following the same path they walked, not a path that leads somewhere else, but a path that leads you back to yourself. Not a path of becoming, but a path of being. Not a path of accumulation, but a path of recognition. Every morning is a new beginning. Every breath is a fresh start. Every moment is an opportunity to wake up from the dream of separation and remember the reality of wholeness. Tomorrow morning, when you open your eyes, you will once again have forgotten who you truly are. This is not a failure. This is the human condition. The miracle is not that you forget. Miracle is that you can remember. And now you know how to remember. You have the tools, you have the understanding, you have the practice. But more than that, you have the truth. And the truth is this: you were never actually lost. You were never actually broken. You were never actually separate from what you seek. You are the awareness that remains when everything else changes. You are the peace that exists when everything else is chaotic. You are the love that flows when everything else is closed. You are the consciousness that shines when everything else is dark. This has always been true. This will always be true. Tomorrow morning you will have the opportunity to remember this truth once again. The choice, as always, is yours. But now you know that choosing consciousness is not harder than choosing unconsciousness. Choosing presence is not more difficult than choosing absence. Choosing wholeness is not more challenging than choosing fragmentation. The only difference is remembering that you have a choice. Your new day begins in a few hours. Your new life begins the moment you remember who you are. You are not the one who seeks. You are not the one who suffers. You are not the one who struggles. You are the one who observes seeking, who witnesses suffering, who watches struggling. You are the still center around which all experience revolves. You are the eternal now in which all time appears. You are the infinite space in which all forms arise and dissolve. You are awake. You have always been awake. Tomorrow morning you will simply remember that you never actually fell asleep. This is not the end of a teaching. This is the beginning of a life lived in truth. This is not the conclusion of wisdom. This is the commencement of awakened being. Your transformation is not a future possibility. Your transformation is a present reality waiting to be acknowledged. The moment you wake up tomorrow, you will face the same choice you have faced every morning of your life. Will you remember who you are, or will you forget once again? Now you know. The question is, will you choose to remember? The answer lives in the space between your last thought tonight and your first breath tomorrow morning. In that space, you are already awake. In that space, you are already home. In that space, you are already whole.